It's Margaret Kerry and Tinkerbell at Large. Once again, good to see you all. Um, I thought I would tell you that we're talking about voiceovers and all the voiceover work that I did with Hal Smith. Remember, he played Otis Campbell on the Andy Griffith Show, The Drunk? He was a dear friend of mine. He did over 10,000 voices, one of the most famous ones. And I worked with him side by side. I love doing voiceover. And I had a strange thing. I thought you might use this. Was trained by different people as I went along. And this one woman, a teacher that I had, she said, "You've never heard your voice, have you?" And I thought, is that a trick question? And she said, no, you've never heard your voice. I said, I think I have. She said, everybody thinks they have. So I want to show you, if you ever want to know how your voice really sounds and how you're doing and how you're placing your voice, etc. So she took me over to the corner of the room. Now pretend that this is a wall of a room and this is the other wall and this is the corner. And she said, now get up close and put your hands over the top of your ears, which changes your voice immediately, by the way, and get close and talk in there to the corner. You will be the most surprised person. My voice is pretty good. I always think it's terrible. But when I get in the corner, I think, that's not bad. And I do it, maybe twice a year, because you get older, and pretty soon you sound like a cackling old woman. I do voiceovers. I'm sorry, it just comes easily. And I played cackling old women in many cartoons. But that's what you do, just in the corner of the room and listen. And if you like it, if that's where it should be, train it. Train it to what you want. And I thought that was a fascinating piece of information for those of you who want to be voiceover actors. I had a young man who came to me one day, years and years and years ago, who was talking like this. And he had a speech impediment. And he didn't know it. He says, I came to be an announcer on CBS or NBC here. So I came to town from Minnesota. And I thought he was kidding me. And I said, why are you talking to me? He said, well, can you get me in someplace where, I've been to all of them and I've given them my recording and I never heard back from them. And I'm just desperate. And here you are at Animation Filmmakers. So I thought. So I put the recording down. I thought he was kidding. It was worse than when he talked it naturally. I said, what have you been doing with your... He said, I've been 8 years at a university going through voice work and what I could do. And then I said, you have the laziest tongue of anybody I have ever heard who wants to do voiceover. You can turn over your tongue and exercise it. So I took him in where there was a mirror and I said, here, and I taught him how to turn his tongue. I had time off that day. And I said, now, what I want you to do is this really what you go back home. Listen to your voice, as I told you. Train your tongue. Get rid of this speech problem. I have a speech problem? Yeah. He said, maybe I should go back to school. No. I said, in 8 years, if they haven't told you, don't go back to school. So, anyway, and I want you to go back home, and then when you feel good that you've done that, start driving away from your house, turn on the radio, and keep going until you hear a radio station that you think you can do a better job for that radio station than who is on the air. And then get that job, and that's where you start. Yes, ma'am. So I heard from him about a year and a half later, and he was a happy camper. I said, what's you doing? He said, I'm in a little radio station in a little podunk town, and I am king of the mayor because everybody knows me. Everybody knows my voice. I said, you sound great. He said, I did just what you said, and I worked on it. I tell you, life is wonderful when you can help people. God bless, and here's a little pixie dust.